Many Jews today are turning to a more religious path. If becoming a Baal Teshuvah or following a more religious Jewish path does not necessarily involve changing one's friends, career, or trying to change one's family, how have those following this lifestyle changed themselves?
I was always very focused on my career and work. So I would try and be the good wife and the good mother and make sure that the family were okay. But come bedtime, I'd be on my computer and I would easily work till 2 in the morning. And I think my priority in many ways was my business and my work. And then with Judaism, I realized the priority of family. And it changed me quite, I think, at the core around my approach to my children, my approach to my husband. And the children then experienced so much change. So even in the way that Alan and I started relating to each other, around, much greater respect and appreciation and gentleness, that recognizing that was more important, and how it doesn't really matter if you say, you love someone. It's all about, Judaism, it's about action. So how are you demonstrating that? How are you demonstrating respect and appreciation?
I look back on my life and I'm not unhappy that I had all those secular years. I mean, those molded me and those grew me, and I am who I am because of those years. And I also value them because I can relate to anybody on any level. And I don't judge anyone who is in that world. I just want to show them something different, introduce them to living on another dimension.
I feel like I'm more present in my life now than I maybe was before, where I was just kind of going with the flow. And I feel like you have to take stock of your life and plan more in terms of the small things that you need to do every day, like what am I going to eat, where am I going to eat, am I near a kosher restaurant, am I not? There's always a kosher way.
I haven't changed as a person. I personally feel and think that I'm still exactly the same girl who I was 3 years ago, except I have a different perspective on how I see things in life. I take things more seriously, and I feel that this is definitely for me.
So many people make decisions in their lives as young Jewish families that they really are not informed. And I'm becoming more and more informed, and I find it's extraordinary at this time of my life where I really thought that I knew a lot, and I've traveled extensively. I know so little.
What Ashley has found in her youth in Cape Town is interestingly what Viv has discovered in her later years after relocating from Johannesburg to Cape Town to retire. However, most would claim that the development of the Baal Teshuvah movement has been slower in Cape Town than Johannesburg.
They say that cities that are located on the beach are usually much more difficult to move. Communities on the beach are more laid back, and particularly in Cape Town, there's a tremendous feeling of the physical beauty of the place. And you almost find Cape Townians will identify their spirituality with the physical beauty of Cape Town. As they say, they go for a walk in the mountains or swim in the sea, and that's a spiritual experience.
What I find in Cape Town is a certain ruach, a certain spirit that lends itself to the neshama, to the soul, on its quest, on its search for meaning and for purpose, that perhaps what the entire world comes to Cape Town looking for, we as Cape Townians find within our own selves. And for a Baal Teshuvah, growing up in an environment as Cape Town, your answers have to be stronger. Your reasons have to be deeper. But in the end, the ultimate goal, the soul that grows through all this, reaches a level where I think they don't reach in very many other places in the world.
So, if Moses won't come to the mountain, will the mountain come to Moses?
One of the beautiful things about Judaism is that becoming more spiritual is not an issue where you go up on a mountain and you meditate for 20 years on your own in isolation. For me, it's about bringing the spiritual into the physical.
I often feel sad when I see Jewish people going and searching out other religions and not having any sense at all of the richness and the profundity within Judaism. And it's so available to us today.
there are organizations, Jewish organizations, that are actually bringing Judaism to the Jews in a way that they were never exposed to it before. So in those places where Jews are being exposed to it, they're being turned on to it. Why? It's like a moth to a flame almost. It's just sparking something inside.
The organizations that are involved in bringing people into Judaism are not making hectic demands of them. In other words, it's a very gentle process. The whole approach really has been, universally, you don't have to give up much to get more involved in Yiddishkeit. Just start learning.
So, what is causing the swing to return to religion in Jewish circles?
For one, I never thought I would be part of a word called Baal Shuva, something I heard about, but it was never something for me or my family that we'd be part of. And now I find that I'm within, this Baal Shuva group. I would think maybe it's God's plan. He always said that there will be a returning, there will be a movement back. In fact, he said in all religions, people will be coming back to God, and that it's beyond us.
We live in a world of incredible emptiness. And I think that people inside of them, they yearn for this meaning. And I think because of that, a lot of people move towards religion, which is the embodiment of fulfillment of truth.
It's lighting what they call the pinteliyid. The pinteliyid is like the spark inside every single Jew that just wants that just wants meaning, that just wants goodness, that just wants wisdom. Someone in my family once asked me, if this is a fad. People used to wear earrings in this ear, and then people used to wear earrings in that ear, and now people are becoming observant. And I don't think that becoming observant is anything that you can do as a fad. It's a lifestyle change, it's a world change. It's difficult for many people. It's a challenge. So it's not something that you can just take on and take off like an earring. It's something that one brings into one's life slowly, methodically. So I think that as Jews are becoming aware of what authentic Judaism is, that's the degree to which they're actually becoming more observant. And I think that's why we're seeing this massive Baal Shuva explosion around the world.
We're in the footsteps of the Mashiach. We're in the pre-Messianic times. And we know that from traditional, religious sources. And I think that as we get closer to the redemption and to, the Messianic age, there's like a filtering down from the upper worlds of spiritual knowledge.
People are thirsting for that knowledge, for that spirituality. And that in fact, we're far from the climax because we're on the cusp of something far greater. There's a spiritual energy coming into our world out of perhaps some of the darkest of times in the history of man. We're starting to see the onset, the sunrise of, please God, what will be the greatest of times in the history of men. And that contrast is coming together in a magnificent way.
Jump off the cliff, take the plunge, because you will not look back. In fact, you will wonder what kept you so long. Like, why did you not do this before? Because there's no more beautiful way for a Jewish person to live than this.